Hello. This time I'm going to cover our last chapter for this course, which is chapter 19, Electrochemistry. What is electrochemistry? Well, electrochemistry is a branch of chemistry. We can say also a branch of physical chemistry that studies the relationships between electrical changes and chemical changes. So we are going to explain that relationship using a device. We're going to use an apparatus called electrochemical cells. So we start from here. We said that electrochemistry studies the changes or the relationships between electrical change and chemical changes. For the electrical changes, we need to see a flow of electrons. Those little particles with negative charge. And this flow can occur when some type of chemical changes occur. And those chemical changes, you know very well. Redox. Redox chemical reactions. So let's remember what is that. Redox is a chemical process where an exchange of electrons between chemical species occur, and that could be in two different ways. Reduction when a substance, a chemical species, gains electrons. So in order for a species to gain electrons, something else needs to give up the electrons. And that substance is going to go through a oxidation process. Oxidation. So oxidation occurs when a substance or chemical species loses electrons. So they give electrons. And this must occur as a pair. It cannot occur independently. So if a substance gives electrons or loses electrons, it's because somebody is going to take something. Is going to take these electrons to go on the reduction process. This type of chemical reactions are very related to chemical changes, and this is the type that we are going to study on this time. It is now exclusive for electrical change to occur, but we are going to focus on this type of reactions and the relationships with electrical changes occurring. So we have a system running a chemical process. So we have a container, and this time we are going to work with aqueous solutions. Aqueous solutions. In these aqueous solutions, we are going to run redox reactions. Therefore, we are going to see exchange of electrons between these two substances. The substance that is being oxidized, giving electrons, and the substance that is going to be reduced, the one that gains electrons. And this process, somewhere here in the border of the system, is going to exchange electrons. And those electrons will be able to flow through an electrical wire. Metal wire. So let's say we have a copper wire there, and the electrons can flow through this metal wire. So this flow of electrons. That flow of electrons can occur in two different ways. And that is going to make the difference between the two apparatus. So the apparatus that we're going to use to study this relationship is called the electrochemical cell. And we have two different types of electrochemical cells. One let's break this into two different types of electrochemical cells. One that is used to generate electricity from a spontaneous redox reaction. So in this case, we have a spontaneous redox reaction to generate electricity. So that is this first case. A redox reaction spontaneously generates electricity. That means allows the flow of electrons to a metal wire. And what is a spontaneous reaction? A spontaneous reaction we just described are the ones that have negative delta G, negative free energy. This type of cells are called voltaic cells or galvanic cells. Also, they are called galvanic. Voltaic, after the name given after Alexander Volta. I recommend you watch the video I posted on the Blackboard about this genius of science who invented the first voltaic cell. Also, they are called galvanic after Galvani. He was working on similar type of electrochemical cells to generate electricity. Another name we have for these voltaic cells are just batteries. It's a battery. What is a battery? A battery is a device that uses spontaneous redox reactions to generate electricity. On the other side, we have another type of cells. On this case, we use this type of cell uses electricity to drive non-spontaneous redox reactions. You see, it's the opposite to the voltaic cell. The voltaic cell generates electricity. This type of cells called electrolytic cells because it uses electricity to break down a chemical substance. In order to do that, it uses electricity and drives non-spontaneous chemical redox reactions. What is the condition for non-spontaneous reactions? Delta G is positive. So let's focus on this type of cells. Let's focus on voltaic cells. And we are going to build. I'll show you how to build a voltaic cells. I'll show you how to create a battery. So again, voltaic galvanic cells uses spontaneous reactions, redox reactions to produce a current that can be used to do work. And that is what we call electrical work. So we have flow of electrons to a wire. And since we have a charged electrical particle, any charged electrical particle generates electrical field. Electrical field, which is a force, and also generates magnetic field, which is another force. And these electrons, due to this property, can be used to do work. And that is what we call electrical work. So we have a transformation of energy here in these voltaic cells. In a voltaic cell, we have a chemical reaction, which is spontaneous, and that those chemical species have chemical bonds and they storage chemical potential energy. Potential energy. And that chemical potential energy is transformed into electrical work. And that, when we measure that electrical work per unit of charge, we define that as a voltage of or EMF, an electromotive force. Here, careful with the word force, because it has not the same meaning as physical force. We need to talk about electromotive force as a whole thing, which is actually energy, which is energy defined as the work done by those electrical charges moving through the wire over unit of charge. So here we have work done by the system. That's why we have negative work over Q, which is the electrical charge. And the units of electrical charge is coulombs. A coulomb is the international system SI unit of electrical charge, and the symbol is capital C. That unit is the amount of electrical charge, Q, transported by a constant electrical current of 1 amp in 1 second. So coulomb is the electrical charge transported by a constant electrical current of 1 amp in 1 second. So the units of charge, as you can see here, are amps second. Therefore, the unit